Why is it that we never have enough space for all of our things? Well, today in this video, I'd like to address that. I'd like to find a way to use all of this empty wall space that you see here. And while we're doing that, I'd like to find a way to go, whoop, went too far. I'd like to find a way to go around all of these obstructions as well. The system is going to allow us some flexibility for mounting our tools. It's also going to hopefully absorb some sound as a side benefit. And it's going to look pretty cool as well, I think. So let's get into it. And I forgot to mention that I'd like to try and use up as much scrap wood as possible.
You may have seen these at Ikea, and actually the price isn't bad at all, and they look really good too. There are also lots of mounting options available, and also a whole lot of aftermarket add-ons that people have designed that you can 3D print yourself. I could just buy a bunch of these, but instead let's try and make our own improved version, which is both stronger and gives more flexibility for mounting. And the best part is that we can use up some of that scrap rather than tossing it. This is nothing more than a slightly better designed pegboard with some painted options. Granted, those slight changes do make a lot of difference in the final product. So let's get into the design. I'm using a hexagon shape, and that's because it's the best shape. They fit nicely together, and they're going to be small enough to easily use up offcuts from around the shop. They can also be arranged in a type of organic shape for that added artistic flair. One issue with my shop is that I have these electrical drops. Bringing these off the wall is going to allow me to use that space going right across. I'll be using my AtomStack X20 Pro laser to cut the panels, but the size is limited to 400 by 400 millimeters, and I'll be shooting for slightly under that. I'll create a 6-sided polygon and then draw a nice large jelly bean shape to use as the holes. And the holes are going to be 12.5 millimeters wide by 30 millimeters tall. I wanted them to be a little bit larger because I want everything that mounts to them to be a bit beefier. I'll extrude 6.35 millimeters to match the thickness of the MDF, which is 1/4 inch, and I'll also add some fillets to the corners to remove all those sharp edges. I'm going to pattern the extrusion for the jelly bean, and here I'm just aiming for something that's not going to reduce the strength of the panel too much, but also fits well on the hexagon. That's pretty much it for this part. I can export the profile as a DXF and then use Lightburn to create the G-code for the laser. Cutting these out takes about 40 minutes each, but MDF is pretty consistent, so it's going to cut through each piece reliably with the same amount of power, speed, and passes. And while the rest of these panels are running, we need to get some standoff mounts made so we can get them onto the walls. These will be 3D printed, and to allow flexibility with mounting, I've added holes to top and bottom, and also just to one side. That's going to allow us to get mounted to a stud more often by just rotating them around. I'm going to print these with my Bambu Lab X1 carbon printer and the cheapest ASA material available, and I need 27 of these for now. But this printer is pretty fast, so it shouldn't take long to finish these up. This printer was sent to me to test out, by the way. There are links in the description if you're already interested in these printers. They are quickly becoming some of the most popular printers on the market. And I will have more videos coming out soon showing off what this printer can do.
So I think I slightly misjudged the amount of space I have on this wall back there. There's a lot more of these that I can actually fit on it. So what I did was I laser cut one of these out of Bristol board. I think what I'll do is take a photo of this on the wall, and I can get the scale, and then just play around with it in a software to see how I can fill up this wall. All right, I have the layout done. I have everything marked as far as where the studs are and where the drywall anchors need to be. For each panel, I plan on having 2 studs, so that's 4 screws for each panel into stud, and some drywall anchors per panel as well, except for one panel over on this side here, which I could only get 1 stud. And then let's go ahead and get these things mounted. So I am pretty happy with the performance and kind of the general look of these, but I'm actually not too happy with what I did with the colors. There's just way too many different colors going on, and I need to change that. I'm going to take all these off and repaint them, except for the chalkboard. That's actually working really well, and I like the look of that one. So when I bring you back, these should all be repainted. All right, I think that's a slight improvement at least. I know I don't have everything matte finish. I actually would really like everything to be the same, but this is the paint that I had on hand. I think I'm just gonna give this a try. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit longer before I put the caps on, and then let's see about getting some tools on here. With that done, in next week's video, I'd like to try and get all of these mounted with their own custom mounts. These are some of the tools that I use most often. I'd like to get them in the place that is going to make it easiest for me to use them. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and make sure you hit that notification bell. Also, if you want to support me in another way, you can support me on Patreon. There is a link in the description below for that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, or at least entertaining. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.